Hello, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Unapologetically Fly, the podcast. This time we are recording live from Marrakech, Morocco, y'all. One of my favorite places to go. This is our fourth time in Marrakech, and I was fortunate enough to connect with a beautiful lady who just moved here not that long ago. So I'm going to have her share her story with us today. I have Tina C. Hines, Life Transformation Specialist, joining me live today. And guess where we are, y'all? We are in the former home of Josephine Baker, y'all, for real. So, Tina, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome to Morocco.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure too. We just met, y'all. We connected on Facebook, and Tina agreed to share her story with us today. I just want to start with, first of all, you just moved to Morocco a few months ago, and somebody already asked me to ask you, what made you choose Morocco?
Actually, I don't think I chose Morocco. I think Morocco chose me. A close friend of mine is working on an amazing project to create a healing and restoration center for Black people.
Okay.
And she invited me to come and help bring her vision to life in a supportive role.
Okay.
And so when she reached out to me and she says, "Hey, come to Morocco," I was like, "Okay, let's talk." And eventually I decided to come.
Okay, I know we have so many people wanting to make that mass exodus. And tell us a bit about that process. Like, you have a friend here, so I know that was helpful. But I know there's some things like, the visa or having to have a certain amount of money and actually physically making the move. Tell us, let's start with the visa process.
Okay.
Did you, tell us about that.
So for me right now, I am here as a tourist.
Okay.
So I haven't applied for the residency. So I can stay here for 90 days without having to apply for the residency. And a person can either leave the country and come back in for a period of time. But if you're planning to apply for residency, there is a certain amount that you have to create a bank account here in Morocco. You have to be fingerprinted. So there is a whole process that I haven't fully explored as of yet, because I truly haven't decided if it's going to be for the long haul or if I'm going to move on to my next destination.
Okay, so I met a lady when I was visiting Tanzania, and she was there on a resident visa. Is that a tourist visa?
Tourist visa.
Tourist visa. I'm sorry. And she said I guess it was like 90 days, she had to actually leave and come back, even if it was just for one day. Is that a similar thing?
Similar situation. You would have, when you're getting close to your 90 days, you need to leave the country. And most people tend to find a country that is like an hour or 2 hour flight that's nearby. So typically in Morocco, it could be Spain or it could be Portugal that they would go to. And you stay a couple of nights and then you come back and it triggers your tourist visa for another 90 days.
Okay, so when you leave, so you don't have to wait a period of time to get the tourist visa again. You just have to go out, come back, start the process again.
It's just like getting your passport stamped. So you get your passport stamped and you get a number. That number is connected to you while you're here in Morocco.
So you agreed to come and support your friend's project. Had you been to Morocco before that?
Actually, she convinced me. She has a great way of convincing me to do things. She facilitates retreats. Correction. She curates retreats for people. And so I had attended one of hers the first time, like 7 years ago. And we would always joke around. She's like, "I'm going to get you to move to Morocco." I'm like, "Oh, no, you're not. I need turquoise water." So that's always our hidden joke. And I need turquoise water. And then I decided to host a retreat for my group of ladies this past May.
Okay.
And so that was amazing. And we went out to the Sahara. And then when we came back, I went back to the States. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still not coming. I don't want to live there."
Little did you know.
Little did I know. Little did I know, life has a funny way of opening doors for you when you least expect it. And what I had done was I had resigned from my previous position, and I gave her a call and I says, guess what I did? And she says, what? I says, I quit my job today. She's like, good, come.
And that was that.
And that was that. I was like, there's nothing really holding me here.
And that was by here, that was in the U.S.
In the States, yeah. There was nothing really holding me in the States. So I packed up me and my son and we got on the plane. We said our goodbyes to our friends and family and made our way to Morocco.
Okay. Now, if y'all hear all that noise in the background, it's because we are again in the home, the former home of Josephine Baker. And it is a riad, which is a Moroccan home. And it's open to the public to come and rent the room. So it's like a small hotel. Okay. So we're not in a private home. So there are hotel guests here. In fact, I have 11 ladies staying here myself. So that's probably who you hear, okay? So just disregard the noise in the background. But anyway, there are a lot of people who want to leave the U.S., like I said before. And I know they have various reasons why they won't. And is there anything that you could share that like may help someone get off the fence who's thinking about making that kind of move?
I honestly would say, we met in this beautiful community called Exodus. And
okay. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
We met in a Facebook group.
Yes, in the Facebook group.
And the group is called Exodus.
Yes.
Okay.
And, as I observe a lot of the women that are already part of that community who are leaving or in the process of leaving, for myself personally, I knew I've always wanted to live outside of the United States. I just didn't know the where. And it's important that when you make that decision for yourself based on what your needs and wants are, that you start exploring various locations to see that it's a good fit for you. Right. Because sometimes a person can say, oh, come to Morocco. You're going to love Morocco. And you get to Morocco and you be like, that's not what I need for me right now.
Right, I get it.
And you know what type of lifestyle you're accustomed to. You know what your needs and wants are. Taking into consideration the language challenges that you may face. All of these are a key part. The healthcare. What do you need health-wise? The cost of living. All of these play key roles in how you go through your decision-making process. Because what one person may need or want may be totally different than what another person wants.
Right. And you mentioned healthcare.
Yeah.
And I know you had to tap into the system here. And I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you are doing well. Yeah. You want to share about that a little bit?
I was having a great time until, a couple of days after arriving in Morocco, I suffered a mild heart attack.
Just a couple of days.
Just a couple of days. Literally 2 days after arriving here.
That sounds like, I'm just going to take a guess. Was it stress behind the move? Or?
I really can't pinpoint exactly what it was.
Were you grieving anything you left home?
No. I was ready to leave home.
Yeah.
I wasn't grieving, nothing. I wasn't stressed. Even the ease and flow of me packing up my home to move. So it literally came out of nowhere. And I ended up having a blockage in the artery going to my heart. And I visited two separate hospitals because the first one was more of a challenge to navigate. Then I went to one that was more of a French hospital for international people, and I received amazing care.
Okay, so that made a difference. Yeah. So the first one was more for locals, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And the other one was more of a private hospital. But the language barrier was integral because there were some challenges, and I really couldn't get a translator there to support me. my friend who I had come here to work with, unfortunately, she was out of the country, so she was trying to navigate things via the phone.
And that was only contact you had here?
Yeah.
Ooh,
and then there was another new colleague that was here as well, who had been here a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we were all trying to navigate getting the support that I needed in order to get the procedure done.
Right.
And eventually they did the procedure through my vein. So I had local anesthesia. I was awake for the procedure. And they unblocked the artery, and I've been doing well. And my aftercare has been great.
Aftercare was great. Everything was great. Yes. So other countries do have good health care.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's good for people to know, because a lot of times people make this assumption that you don't want to get sick somewhere outside of the U.S.
Yeah, we tend to because we are comfortable. Or we have a great knowledge of what we have access to in the United States. It's challenging to see it when you're outside the country of what it's going to look like.
Right.
And oftentimes people are looking at what they see on television.
Of course.
And they're comparing that. You can't compare what you see on television to what the reality of it is. And I found that I feel and actually know that I got the best care here. I got
in
the
Morocco.
best care for me here.
Because I was going to say, come on, we know that in our country, a lot of times us as Black folk, we don't get the best care.
No, it was amazing. I was in intensive care for a few days, and the nurses were just so sweet and just really took care of me. There was one I kept joking with, and she kept coming and chewing gum. And I was like, I want some gum. I want some gum. And she's like, I'm going to tell my friend to get you some Trident. And it was that caring. Like, it's like, okay, you're listening to me versus, okay, yeah, you want gum, I'm ignoring you. And even the level of care of the process of the nurses coming in and checking on you. And they make sure you get your rest. They make sure you get everything. Yes. So
rest at a hospital?
Rest at a hospital.
I'm
they
shocked.
Disturb you to be taking your vitals and stuff. You get your rest. They check when they switch teams.
I've never heard of this, to be honest, because everybody knows that the hospital is the one place where you're not going to get rest, because they are going to disrespect your rest all through the night. Yeah. Wow.
I talked to family members about this because a lot of them were like, are you going to come home now? And I was like, why?
Why? Right.
I was like, even my follow-ups with my doctor, I'm like, there is no reason for me to come home. I'm getting the best care. Okay. And it's economical.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about that.
Let's just say that the procedure would have probably been 7 times what it cost me.
So did you have like insurance for it, or it had to be out of pocket?
I had to pay out of pocket, and the insurance has to reimburse me.
Okay.
So I literally, I don't have a problem saying it, I had to come up with 10 grand.
Okay.
But that was it.
Yeah,
there was like nothing extra.
That sounds like a lot less than what.
Because home I would have gotten the bill from the anesthesiologist, the cardiologist, every pill that I took in the hospital. Right. There would have been a number of things that probably would have added up to like $50,000 to $70,000.
Right. And what was the procedure again?
They did, I don't know if they want to call it non-invasive, but they went through my artery. To unblock an artery. To unblock an artery.
For $10,000.
Yes.
Yeah, not in the U.S.
Not in the U.S. Not at all.
Wow.
And again, I will say I received great care.
That's
even
wonderful.
When I go to my follow-up visits with my doctor, it's great care. She's like, anything you need, you WhatsApp me.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And anything I don't understand, she interprets for me.
So these people over here spoiling you.
And that's why I said, why would I want to come home?
There's
no reason for me to come home.
And then another thing that you had mentioned before, we were talking before, you said dating was actually a good thing here. Let's talk about that, because my listeners love to hear about dating. So please feel free to share all you want to share about that, because these men over here, they look good. they are eye candy all day long here.
There's some very attractive men in Morocco.
There are.
Just like at home, there's a way to navigate it. I'm enjoying the process.
I know you are.
of navigating. I'm enjoying being, I don't want to necessarily say courted, but listened to.
Okay.
I will say listen to. And because I had an experience where I kept saying, where I currently live, there's construction. And so I'm not getting good rest. And I'm like, I need rest. I need rest. And I kept saying that to him in the process of us getting to know one another. And he goes, okay, I know where I can take you for rest.
Okay.
And we went to this beautiful place that I struggle pronouncing, Tahananat, or I forgot what it's called.
It's a city, or
it's
a
it's outside of Marrakech.
Okay.
But it's close. You can see the mountains, and there are just spaces that are just peaceful.
Wow.
And so serene. And we went to what was the name of the place? It was like a community place, but there was no one there. And I just sat there and I meditated, and I just was sitting in stillness, and I was like, this is what I needed. And so now it's like I have to go back here like every other weekend. It's like I escape the noise.
I was gonna say that's
silence.
A great place for a retreat. Huh?
Yeah, it is, but it's away from everything.
Yeah,
I'm not sharing it with everybody.
Okay, I don't blame you.
But I like when he listened.
Yeah.
And he understood what I was saying, where I'm like, it's just too much. Very attentive. Yeah. Very, very attentive. And even though sometimes there may be a language barrier, there's always Google Translate. There's always Google Translate.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm enjoying the process. You know, as you're getting to know anybody, there are always highs and lows. And so it's always important that you ask the right questions. But I'm enjoying the journey.
And you've been here, a couple of months?
Yeah.
And how many nice gentlemen suitors would you say you have encountered? Nice ones, not just, not all total, but how many decent, nice ones would you say? 1, 10? She don't want to say. She lost count.
It's a lot of nice ones.
That's good.
It's nice.
It
feels different. From dating in the States where it feels like pressure, and sometimes ego gets in the way when you have that alpha male. I haven't noticed that. And it could be a number of things. I don't know if it's because I'm a tourist from America. I don't know if it's, for some, I can, because I'm an energy worker, I can sense when there's genuineness in some people. I can also sense when you're being dishonest with me as well. So I ask certain questions. But that part is, I'm very intentional when I'm having these discussions with people. And a lot of times what people keep saying, this is energy about you. And I'm like, well, I'm an energy worker. So I feel a lot of stuff. And I said, so it may be you may be feeling that connection. And that's been the constant, which is so interesting, that people keep continually telling me, there's this energy about you. And I'm like, I know I'm working on it, but.
And how are you meeting these gentlemen?
Let's see.
Because I don't think you're doing Match.com, right?
Well, actually, I meet people in crossing. I'm like, my eye contact is like intense. It's like
okay,
and it's like
okay,
like
just stare them down.
Just
glance at them.
I'm staring you down. I am staring you down. You're gonna get this eye contact. But I also did a dating app as well.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
In Morocco.
I'm not gonna look in Morocco, but I'm not gonna.
We're not.
They ain't.
We're not sponsored.
Yeah, we ain't sponsored now.
Okay.
But I also did a dating app as well. I did a couple, and then I started weeding out the ones that were like, and not so great. Because let's be clear, there are some people on dating apps who are looking for one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. But then I'm just connecting with these people because I get to see their pictures, and then I can weed through if there's really a connection or an interest. And my process is typically I'll do a video chat to really see if there is a connection there before I proceed with having the date.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop right for a second just to mention our sponsor. And our sponsor is me, Well Diva. So welldiva.com for your luxurious vacations and retreats for the ladies. We are here in fabulous Marrakech, Morocco for the fourth time. We're in Morocco, but the first time, this is our first time doing just Marrakech. We're getting outside of the Medina and exploring. This has been a really, really wonderful experience. Next trip is Kenya, and we're also planning to go to Bali. And we're actually thinking about Brazil too, but go to welldiva.com if you would like to join us for a wonderful experience. All right, and what else did I want to ask you, Tina? Oh, I don't know if you want to share about what your age is, just to see if, you're about our age, the age of the listeners, so that they'll feel more encouraged. But if you don't want to share, that's...
Oh, I'm proud of my age.
Okay.
I'm 55 years young.
All right, we are the exact same age. So, and I just asked that just because you are dating, you are making moves in life, and a lot of times people think, oh, it's too late to do that, and it's not. That's finally living for yourself. Is that what you're doing?
And that was a great segue of living your life unapologetically abundant.
Yes. Unapologetically fly. That's what she's doing, y'all. That's why I wanted to bring you on, because I'm like, okay, look at this, sis. I don't know anything. Like, I'm just getting to know her just like you are. But I saw what you were doing, and I said, that sounds unapologetically fly to me. So, tell us a bit about, your business, your mission, and all that.
So my business is, I focus on supporting women who are on a journey from hurting to healing to happiness.
From hurting
to healing
to
happiness.
To happiness. Y'all know happiness, that's my word. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now see, y'all didn't even know this. And y'all know happiness is my word. But yes, keep going.
And many times we, especially us in this age demographic, our children, for those who have children, have grown on and they're doing their own thing. Unfortunately, mine has not. And now we're rediscovering ourselves. I say we're going through this evolution because everything that we did for everyone else is now going to the back, and we are coming to the forefront to start living our best lives, whatever it looks like for us.
Finally living for yourself. Yes.
And so I work with women to help them release the past pain and then take this journey of their own personal transformation for what it looks like for them. And I love to call it a journey because he's consistently evolving. And through that process, there is coaching. And I also facilitate healing retreats, international healing retreats for the ladies as well. The retreat started out in Jamaica, and then we started going to Anguilla, which is my space of healing where I went. And I felt the need to bring women there. So we've done Anguilla several years. We've done Bali, Indonesia as well, and Morocco.
Nice.
But it's amazing to watch women go through this evolution of rediscovering themselves. And pieces that have lain dormant because they've suppressed it because they're making sure everybody else is happy.
It's okay, right.
And I'm like, now you're in your season. This is your season of growth. This is your season of transformation and not necessarily change. You're growing. People say, "Oh, you change." Like, no, you're growing because you're taking in new information and you're processing it differently than you have in the past. So I love that.
Yes, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, like, there's no reason to not enjoy the rest of your life. Like, we're doing the same thing. We're both helping you move into the best part of your life. So wherever you are, you don't have to stay there for the rest of your life just because you're a certain age.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
And as far as retreats, they are out there for us. We have lots of retreats that cater to us.
Yeah.
A certain age, a certain demographic. And a lot of times that we're not doing them, but they're out there for us, and we need to take advantage of those. Tina has some.
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I
No,
thought
go
you were
ahead.
asking a question, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we're not doing them because we may not feel we're worthy of it. Because we ask ourselves, should I be doing this? Or is there something else I need to take care of and be responsible for?
Yeah.
You're responsible for your well-being.
Right.
You're responsible for taking care of you. You can't continually take care of everybody else if you're not okay.
Right.
And I've learned that firsthand. You have to be okay. And whatever it looks like. Now, most people will say, you don't have to go away in order for it to happen. My reason for encouraging women to go away is so they can turn down the volume of everything that they're dealing with at home.
Right.
Turn off the phones so they can go within to tap into what they feel that they need. Because they're going to call, Mom, can you do? Honey, can you do? But if you allow yourself to be removed for 7, 10, 15 days and just focus on yourself, you'd be amazed what you discover.
Right.
And we hope that everyone, male and female, you get to that point. But it's a journey that you have to be willing to take.
And you know, I think sometimes we don't want to do it because it's going to disrupt what we currently have going on.
Comfort.
Yeah, the comfort zone. You know, you get away and you get quiet and you know there's some changes you need to make. And I'm speaking from experience. You know there's some things you need to do, some things you need to change, and you're not ready to do that. So, you know, I'm not going on that retreat because you're going to make me face the things that I need to deal with, and I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend taking your time. I recommend going ahead and making that change.
You know, if we didn't learn anything through the C word that I don't like to use,
right.
We learned that life is short.
Right.
And we can't continually live in the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Because a number of us, we either know somebody or we've up close and personal, we've lost
That's
someone.
not here, right?
That's
right.
not here.
That's true.
And when we lose someone, we consistently say, I need to start doing. I need to start. And it's funny because my vision in my head of how I analyzed being safe in our homes, where people say, I'm stuck in my home because we can't go out. I'm like, you're safe in your home. I says, but many times we don't even realize you asked the universe for this.
I want more time at home.
I want more time at home. I want more time with my children. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Well, it came with conditions. You get more time with your children, but now you got to teach them because they can't go to school. You get more time at home, but you can't go out the way you would normally go out and do certain things. You got what you asked for. It came with conditions that you weren't prepared to have. So there was an opportunity for us to learn so much in that time and be like, I lost so-and-so. I mean, literally within a 3-month time span, I lost people. Yeah. And it was like, you know what? I got to continue living. Yeah. And I have to start doing more of what brings me joy. Right. Be unapologetic about it.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else you want to share about anything? I think we have a few more minutes. Go for it.
I would just, here's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we we are so comfortable living in our space, and does not necessarily mean that everybody wants to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to encourage you to allow yourself to experience more.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Because you'll be amazed what you discover about other cultures.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed also what you discover about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told my friend, I'm never going to live in Morocco. I need X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I would fall in love with Morocco the way I have. And for however long that I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for a season, whatever that season looks like for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for the people who are listening and watching, find what you need for you.
Right.
Fill your own tank up.
Mm-hmm.
And as we always say, allow people to get what's on the saucer, not in the cup.
Oh, say that again.
Allow people to get what's on the saucer, not in the cup.
All right, so fill the cup up, let it flow over, and then they can have that.
And they can have the overflow.
Yes, that's why I always say be selfish. Selfish is not a bad word.
And see, I like to say be self-full, so you can
All
fill
right.
yourself up.
I like that too. Self-full. Yes, I get it. I love it. That's wonderful. But I want to keep going. I also wanted to ask, to share, I want you to share a bit. You mentioned how helpful and how helpful the people are here.
Mm-hmm.
Like just now, on the way over here, Tina got a little bit lost. I don't want to say the word lost, but a little bit out of the way and needed some instruction on how to get over here. Please share how wonderful these people are here, because I could not do this in the U.S. I already know that.
You're right.
I could not
the
do
way
it.
Everything that happened. Like literally, I was misdirected.
Yeah. You were exactly.
My map misdirected me,
Mm-hmm.
and I happened to stop in front of a gym, and one guy came out, and I'm like, come here, come here.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked over and he talked to the person on the phone, trying to get an understanding of where I was so he can help navigate me. And so he started giving me directions. And as soon as he said turn number 3, I was like, I'm going to be lost even more.
Mm-hmm.
And so another gentleman came out of the gym, and I saw that he was on a moto or a scooter. They call it moto here in Morocco. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, you can help me. So I called him over, and he explained, the person on the phone explained to him where I needed to be.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, okay, just hop on the moto. And the average person would have been like, just go that direction,
Right.
and whatever. But I hopped on the moto. It's probably like the 3rd time I've been on a moto because I like being in a car.
Mm-hmm.
And he just went and brought me to this space, and didn't ask for anything in return. But I wanted to give, because gas is gas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just genuine. And he's like, is everything okay? He made sure that I was good. And I said, yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much. And he's like,
Now, isn't that
okay.
something, how we feel safe doing that in Morocco?
Yes.
But at home, a dude is coming out the gym, and I'm like, hey, can I jump on your motorcycle and go blow?
Right.
I just don't see myself doing that at home.
I got a story for you.
Uh-huh.
So on one of my dates,
Mm-hmm.
my driver, I have a couple of people that I meet, and I'm like, you want to drive me around because I feel safe with you?
Mm-hmm.
And he was taking me to my destination, and he was asking questions, and he was like, do you know this person? Where are you going? Like everything to almost like, I need to make sure you're okay. Like a dad.
Like a dad.
And so, he couldn't speak great English, but he was using the translator, and he goes, I fear for you. And I said, why? He was like, because I don't want anyone to take advantage of you.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I met this person, several months ago before I came here. So I know them, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And so when the person comes, I'm still sitting in the car. I don't get out the car. He they talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, is it okay for me to get out the car?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yes, you will be safe.
Oh.
And I was like, it just warmed my heart because he genuinely wanted to make sure that I was safe before I got out of his vehicle. Yeah.
And not to say we don't have people like that at home, because we do. But it's nice to know that you can go somewhere else in the world and feel that taken care of.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of us are moving, because we're learning that we can go all over the world and connect with people easily.
Yeah.
The group, you said it was Exodus. Is that the name of the group? Because I feel like there was more to it than name.
Well, they did the summit.
It's the Exodus Summit.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to clarify, because I know somebody's going to go and look for that group, and they're going to end up in the wrong group.
Yeah.
And
don't blame us.
Okay, the Exodus Summit.
The Exodus
thank
Summit.
you.
Because remember, they did they just finished their conference, their online conference. Okay. And I was one of the panelists.
So the group is about Black women, okay,
who are leaving, leaving the United States.
Leaving the United States. Okay, so it is just Black women. Okay, I wasn't sure. I knew it was Black folk, but I didn't know if it was just women. Because I'm one of those people that's just on there looking. and I joined the group a few years ago when I was thinking about moving. And I ended up not leaving the country, just moving across country. But I have connected with you and one other lady in there. And hopefully one day I'll get a chance to interview her. Her name is Debbie. I don't know if you know her online. She's the Gallivanting Grandma or Grandma, something like that. She's all over the world. She specializes in helping people with doing house sitting gigs all over the world.
Oh, that sounds like Stephanie. So
she does that too. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I actually came into the group with Stephanie doing the house sitting, and I did actually one house sit, and I was like, this isn't for me.
Really?
But it is good. Let me rephrase that. It's good. I'm not a pet person.
Okay.
I'm not a pet person.
Okay.
Pets love me. I don't love them back.
Yeah. So the house sitting, for those who don't know, a lot of times you can go all over the world and stay for free as long as you agree to take care of their pets and maybe their plants. Yes. Anything else?
So it all depends on what their needs are during their time away from their home. Pets, plants, just making sure they have someone in the home. And it's great for people who want to travel the world. Yeah. And they want to have their accommodations covered. Right. So they cover the accommodations for you. And it's a great thing. I'm so glad that I was introduced to it, because it just made me continue exploring other things within the group of other ways that I can do what I need to do.
But that pet got on your nerves?
I don't like to be locked to. I need to be back a certain time for it to feed, to walk.
I got 2 dogs. They are children who never grow up. So when I think about doing a house sitting gig, I'm like, okay, so what? I'm going to put my dogs with a sitter so I can go sit somebody's dogs? It don't make no sense.
And sometimes they let you bring your own pets, depending on how many. Oh. There's so many variables with it that the person really needs to explore what it is.
I didn't know they let you bring your pet.
Depending on how many or the size.
Yeah, mine are big.
Yeah, so there's so many variables with it. But it is a great opportunity for someone, because then you're within a community. I met this fabulous woman one year I stayed in Mexico for 2 months. I'm a 2-month person. I go places for about 2 months and then decide if I'm really gonna like it or not. And I met this wonderful woman from Houston, and I had invited her into the community, and then she started doing a lot of house sits in Mexico, and she's been enjoying exploring Mexico, touring, doing different excursions. Nice. I'm more of I like to be in one spot and stay. I'm not a mover around. I'm not a tourist kind of person. I go to one place, and that's it. But it's great to meet people, and to be within little communities where people live, because sometimes they'll introduce you to their neighbors to let them know that this person is house sitting. Okay. So it's a great experience. Yes.
I think of a story. Are you familiar with the book You Are a Badass?
No. Tell me.
Okay. Oh, it's a great book. She has like 3 of them. You're a badass. You're a badass at making money. Get the
I've
book.
seen the title.
Great books,
Yes.
right? But in one of those books, she tells the story of her house sitting experience, and it is hilarious. She said somebody told her, oh, you should do this house sitting gig because she needed to get away and write the book. I think that's what it was. So she takes this gig, and they're like, oh, we have a couple of goats and a horse. And she's like, okay. So she takes the gig, and she said the goats kept wanting to come into the house, but of course she would never let them in the house. But she left to go to the store or something, and she comes back, and the goats are in the house. The goats are in the house, and she gets in the house, and they have torn the entire house up. You have to get the Audible and listen to her tell the story. But I always think of that when I'm looking at house sitting gigs. I'm like, I don't want no goats.
Yeah. And there are a lot of different kind of animals depending on the location. I've seen the rabbits. I'm not
and then there's some with no animals, which I know that's got to be the best.
Yes, definitely.
But anyway, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Because I do not want to get home and be thinking, dang, I should have asked her this. I should have let her talk about that. But this has been wonderful. And again, keep going if there's anything else you think of while I'm trying to wrap up. Because we still got a little time now.
Okay.
Anything else? But anyway, it's been fun. I'm dragging it out here because I'm just trying to make sure, because this is good and juicy, and I don't want to miss anything. Because I had a couple of questions that the ladies were asking me, and I think I covered those. Anything about what do you do here, like nightlife? What's not just nightlife, because I don't even go out at night, but what's your typical day like? Let's go there.
I'm not much of a social butterfly. I'm an ambivert, a combination of an introvert, extrovert.
Okay.
Me and my son, we have a date night once a week.
Okay.
So we decide
Just
what we're going to eat.
Okay.
So we're going out to eat somewhere, or we're visiting, touring the Medina, which is huge because we can never finish the Medina. And so really there are different great restaurants that you can go to, and some of them have bars. So sometimes I go solo. I go to them by myself.
And you feel perfectly fine and safe.
I feel perfectly
Day
safe.
or night.
Day or night.
Yes.
I stroll by myself without an issue.
Yeah, the other night I was out, and I don't know if do they call it downtown here, or is it just called the New Town? Because I keep hearing the New Town.
Or the center.
Okay.
They call
Where's Zara?
Is that? Zara is Galiz. So that's more of the city of Galiz.
Oh.
It's downtown Galiz.
Well, that's where I was the other day. I was strolling up and down the street until about 9:30 by myself.
Yeah.
It was 9:30 or so, shopping. I felt perfectly safe.
I do.
Yeah. So you go to dinner once a week.
So I go to dinner with my son once a week. I may go out with myself. I met a lovely young lady, Moroccan lady here. So every now and then there's activities that she'll be like, oh, you want to go to this? So we did a cooking class.
Okay.
I've done that.
And there's so many cooking classes here, and the food is amazing.
Yes, it is. So I do that.
Oh, what about
I've gone to the movie. And I've gone to the movies.
Okay, to the theater. What about hair care for us here? What do you do?
Well, I came here with long hair, but my suitcase was full of products. So I've had enough to get me. I still have enough to get me through probably about the next 3 months or so.
So basically, you have to bring your own hair care products.
I haven't explored to find what they. I'm sorry. I did see a hair care. I did see one hair care product for natural hair.
But what about like braiders? Have you?
There are braiders. I haven't. My friend has a braider, but I haven't explored it yet. Since I cut my hair off, I'm like, I'm not going to braid my hair now.
What about brows, lashes, nails?
I'm not a lash
not
person.
Into all that.
Yeah, but I've got my brows razored.
Okay.
In Galiz, there's a lot of different places where you can go. It's
So
zhuzhed up.
okay, so Galeese is where I saw Zara.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw Mac.
Yes, there's
Mac
Mac, and
Cosmetic.
behind that side road, there's also an institute for nails, for a nail salon.
Okay.
Institute, so I've gone there.
Okay, and then I believe there is a Louis Vuitton here somewhere, or is that just in Casablanca? Do you know?
I haven't explored it.
Okay, you're not a Louis girl.
I'm not. I'm not a name brand kind of person. I am a very, very simple woman.
Okay, well, y'all, I'm gonna find the Louis.
Yeah.
If there's one here, I'll let y'all know.
I am a very simple woman. That's why I tell people. That's one of the reasons why I consistently say, you know what you need for you and what your lifestyle is.
Right.
And so you have to find what works for you. I'm a simple woman, but I am a selective person, especially when it comes to food. There are a lot of foods that I don't eat. I live with a pescatarian, which is a challenge. So there's a lot of different variables.
Okay. And I found the food here to be wonderful.
Yes.
I don't like to call myself vegan, but I don't eat animal products.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and then I might have some dairy, but for the most part I follow a plant-based diet, and I've found it to be very easy to maintain that diet when I'm here. Right outside of our Riyadh, there's a vegan restaurant, matter of fact. But do you find do you have any special dietary needs and find any issues with that? Or
I don't have any special dietary needs. My son, who only eats fish, the markets, they do have fresh fish. The challenge is the names of the fresh fish. But I'll just if I get a whole fish, I'll just have it filleted and prepare it a certain way for him. But other than that, and we can find tofu as well. Markets.
Now that I have not seen since I've been here ever.
It's not in the cold section.
Okay, this is my 4th time here. I've never seen it on a menu anywhere. Nice to know they know what that is.
It's in the grocery store, that's for sure. It is in the grocery store.
Okay. Well, because they do so many vegetable dishes, I kind of feel like it must not be necessary in the restaurant. So I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and then so language is not even an issue for you, huh?
It has its ebbs and flows, especially when you go through Arabic. There's a certain dialect with it, and also French. So it's like I'm going between both languages at the same time. There's certain words that I know, and then there's some that I don't. But I always pull my app out to make it a little bit more convenient for me to communicate.
Because for the most part here, everyone speaks all three, or maybe it seems like most people here speak either Arabic or French, or all three, or Arabic and English, or Arabic and French.
But what I consistently hear people say is, my English is not that good. And I'm like, as soon as you say that to me, I'm like, your English is very good. Because I do think it's not going to come out like how I'm speaking it, but your English is good for what I'm hearing. That's the better word for me to say it. So I always tell them, and if they say something, they'll like correct me, tell me the right way to say it. And I'm like, I'll help you. So it's good.
So language is not an issue
for me. I think I struggled more with language in Mexico than I have in Morocco.
What? Wow.
And I know a couple of Spanish words, at least not the good ones. But I struggled more in Mexico than Morocco with
Would
the
you think that's because more people here speak English?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, most definitely.
All right. Okay.
I do have something I want to talk about.
Come on. I'm trying to empty you out.
No.
Go ahead.
A lot of times when it comes to leaving the country, a lot of people, I'm going to say a lot because I don't know a lot, sometimes we fear leaving because of family.
Yes. That was something I was thinking about when you were talking earlier. Like, you got family members that'll try to put their fears on you.
Yes. And I am one, like, all my close family members will be like, we knew you weren't going to stay here. We knew you were going. We knew you were going somewhere. We just didn't know where.
So they wait till you left. They wait till you packed.
It's like, you're leaving. Yeah. And the way I did it, like, I really didn't give a lot of space for them to try to talk me out of it or put their concerns. It was like, oh, I'm leaving for Morocco in a week. And they're like, what?
Good.
I'm an only child.
Okay.
My son's an only child.
Yeah.
But my mom's the oldest of 10.
Yeah, my mom was the oldest of 10 also. That's
so going through the process of connecting with my family and my close friends, my besties, whom I miss dearly, just making them aware. What's so great is because so many of them knew of my desire to live outside the United States, they embraced it. It was emotional though.
Yeah.
But they embraced it, and we stay connected. We do video chats once every other week or so. We consistently are WhatsApping one another, just to make, especially when everything happened with my heart attack, and the level of concern and knowing they couldn't get to me quick.
Right. Oh, it's okay. Have any of them
that
talked
part
about
was hard?
Yeah, I'm sure, because they were worried.
Because they were concerned. They really
were
concerned.
they any of them trying to come over?
No, they were just trying to make sure that I got everything I needed.
And you did.
And I did.
All right.
And so that part was, I think, the most challenging part.
Yeah.
And they knew I was like, okay, so you do miss your family.
Yeah,
you do miss them not being around the corner.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't like the word but, and at the same time, it's like, but this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to experience.
Well, with holidays coming, do you have plans to go and visit, or?
I haven't decided if I'm going to go back home for Christmas. I might go back home for Christmas.
So you don't do Thanksgiving then?
I'm not really a Thanksgiving person. It's like I have to choose one holiday. So I have to pick which one is going to be it, because I'm not going to go back and forth. And more than likely, it'll be Christmas, because I have an extended period of time where I don't have to focus on the projects that I'm committed to.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be Christmas. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure all that out myself, and I live in the States. And then there is a Black expat community here, but do you know anyone?
I haven't really connected with anyone as of yet.
Okay, but they're here if you if you decide you want to connect with them. I'm sure they probably do some things for Christmas as well.
Definitely.
So.
But I'm going to, but I think that if I go back, it'll be Christmas. I know it's going to be like, I got to make this right, because it's like I got to make pit stops for where everyone is. I'm like, this is more of a challenge than I.
Well, you get in one spot and tell them to come to you if they want to see you. For real. Look, you coming that far. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was great chatting with you today. This has been fun. And I guess we're going to wrap it up. I don't want to let go. I want to keep talking. Because I hate to think of something later. This is a long way to come, right? We're all the way out here in Morocco. So.
But I'm glad that we had the opportunity to have this discussion in this beautiful space, in this amazing country.
Yes.
And I know what else we didn't talk about before. I was here also for the earthquake.
Oh, all right. So they just had a big earthquake, which hit up in the Atlas Mountains, but was also felt here in Marrakech. So where were you? Tell us.
Out. And I think it was a blessing in disguise that I was out. Me and my son were out with one of my colleagues and some friends. We were out at a restaurant. And when the building started shaking, we stood there. Everybody started running, but we stood there. And
they started running and you stood there.
We stood there because we didn't know what was happening. And my friend, he was originally from California.
I was going to say, y'all act like y'all from California.
He was from California.
Just stay in the doorway.
Yeah, so we were like, what's happening? And we were at a space where there was an inside, but we were like on an outside area that was covered up. And we were like, what's happening?
So he knew.
Was running.
Your friend
knew.
He
knew. And then we started running as well. I was like, okay, I done had a heart attack and I done experienced the earthquake. Like, what else can happen while I'm waiting? And still, are you coming home? No. But I'm glad that we were out, because had I been in my apartment, I wouldn't have reacted as quickly. I just don't feel I would have reacted as
But
quickly.
y'all, where were y'all running to? Just to get out of
Just
the
out
building?
of the building.
Okay.
And I don't think I would have reacted as quickly had I been in my apartment. I would have been sitting there wondering, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So it was great that we were out, and I was out with friends, and I felt safe.
Yeah.
And family again checking to make sure that everything was okay.
Yeah, I know they like, look now.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But it was amazing the way people just came together and was so supportive, and me observing how supportive Marrakech as a whole was working towards helping those individuals who were in the Atlas Mountains where lives were lost. I'm an empath, so I get emotional so much.
Right. So as far as in Marrakech, though,
there
where
were
you
certain
were
areas that were damaged.
Okay, so it was okay where you guys
focused
were.
on a lot, but where I was okay.
Good,
I was okay.
Good.
The other people on my street where I live, everybody was safe.
Yeah.
But it's something that they were trying to be like, okay, is there going to be an aftermath?
Yes,
so
right,
that was something that was a lot of people were observing. And I'm getting family members calling me, are you living on the streets? And I'm like, no, why? It's like, because we see videos.
Right.
And
they're going to show you the worst.
They're going to show you the not so positive side versus the positive.
And that's why we came on anyway, because, Morocco needs our tourism dollars.
Yes.
They don't need us to shut down and stop coming because there was an earthquake in one area, even though it
was everywhere, but it hit
other
harder
parts. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, well, I'm glad you all made it through that safely.
Yes.
And I'm glad we were able to connect today.
I'm so grateful that you reached out to me and that it took place like this. It was supposed to be a discussion like this.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in, for listening in to another episode of Unapologetically Fly. I'm going to ask that you like, subscribe, share, download, all of that. And we will see you next time. Thanks for joining.